Okay, so we have another guest here on the Daily Alert, AMI's Daily Alert, and I want to welcome Dr. Yadira Santiago. Welcome, Yadira.
Hi.
She's originally from Puerto Rico. You came over to the States to start your professional career, and you were looking in speech pathology. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, but you quickly decided, through, I guess, influence from your husband, that you wanted to become a chiropractor, and through a couple of turns of events, you ended up in chiropractic school, first at Life, but you finished at Sherman, and you graduated in 2016, and you opened your practice in Houston, Texas.
Yes.
Okay, good. And so you've only been in practice for a couple of years. This year, January 25th, you signed on with AMI. Interestingly enough, Yadira is one of those people that can get things done very quickly, and usually when we have people sign on, they take about 3 months to get their first medical service delivered, sometimes 6 months and sometimes more. But Yadira was delivering her first medical service on March 16th. So well done on that. That was less than 2 months. It was actually like 6 weeks after you joined us. So really well done. And March 16th is right about the time this whole disaster hit. So how did that make you feel at the time?
Oh, it's scary.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can understand that. Here you are launching into a whole new expansion of your business at the exact time the country gets shut down for a pandemic like we've never seen in any of our lifetimes. So, yeah, that's kind of scary. So before you actually had the coronavirus, I know you were getting the chiropractic started, the medical side started up, but how many visits were you seeing a day in your office, approximately?
We were seeing between a day like 30 to 35 visits a day.
Before the
virus, yeah.
Okay. And then, so did you say 35 visits a day or 40?
35 to 40 visits a day.
Okay. And then now after the virus hit, what are you seeing now?
We are seeing between 10 visits, 11 visits a day.
Okay. So that's a pretty big drop, pretty scary. So how did that affect your mindset?
So actually, the last week was the most dramatically drop of my patient visits, and that week was a little bit more scary and more stressed out. But at the end, on that Friday, we went to Home Depot, and then we see a lot of people buying a lot of construction stuff, and they're gonna do a lot of gardening. So that switched all my mindset, because I was start thinking, okay, those people that are doing a lot of gardening and a lot of housework, they're gonna get injured. So they will need help. So I have to be here for my community when they have back pain or neck pain. So that's why we decide and change everything and come ready to start on Monday to be ready to receive those patients.
So you just started that mindset last week, and you changed things for this week, and it's Friday now. How's it going so far?
So far it was great. So this week we closed 3 new patients with care plan of 30 visits.
Wow.
And those patients are cash patients. And everything was on my mind. So I came here, I speak with my staff. I was ready to decrease the hours for this week, but then I changed my mind. I said, no, let's use the time that we don't have patients to do some training, to do some videos, because sometimes when we are busy, we don't have time to do all those stuff. So
right.
We decide to do more training with the staff, more videos, do some ads. So I think
okay.
That's a big change for us.
And your plan is to put these videos online?
Yes.
Have you done any of that yet?
Yeah, I did some of them, and I was doing some video like how you have to wash your hands correctly. And we are gonna do a webinar next week with my nurse practitioner about
Good.
immune system, vitamins, what type of exercise, stretches you can do at home. Because now a lot of people, they are just sitting down on the couch and they are not doing a lot of exercise. So the main goal here as a chiropractor medical office is to keep you in track and keep you doing your exercise and your stretches at home.
Right. We had Dr. John Rosa on as a guest on the Daily Alert. He was the former chair of New York Chiropractic College, and he's the only chiropractor on the White House opioid task force. And when he was on, he was saying it's important to remember that your circulatory system has a heart as a pump, but your immune system is your lymphatic system. And the only pump for that is using your muscles. So getting your patients to exercise is the best thing you could do for them. Have you been watching the Daily Alert?
Yep.
Have you find it helpful?
Yes, a lot.
Okay, how so?
So it's keep me in track to motivate me to do more and stuff and to help more people.
Okay, good. And then how about your staff? Do they listen to it at all, or do you have separate training for them?
Yeah, I just have separate training with them.
Okay, have you educated them on any of the information you've learned?
Yes, usually when I came here in the morning, I just sit with them and talk what are my plans for the week or for the day. And I think that is the key. If everybody as a team, we work together, I think that is gonna be a success for us. Because if I'm scared that I'm the owner, so everybody here on the staff, they're gonna be scared because they're gonna start thinking that they're gonna lose their job, they're not gonna have they're not gonna be able to pay anything, you know. So
Yeah.
we calm down, and I have to promote them that they are gonna be safe as well here at the office.
Yeah. So I could. Whoop! I got a little feedback there. There we go. I can tell you a secret. You can be scared. You just can't let your employees or your patients know it. So I'll tell you a quick story. In 2008, when the market crashed, my wife and I had just opened 3 clinics in 2007 in a state we never lived in, and in Tennessee. So we were running these clinics, and they got off the ground pretty quickly. And I remember I went up on a Tuesday from Atlanta. It's about a 2-hour drive to my closest clinic, which is Chattanooga. And the staff was all talking about, selling their house or getting a smaller apartment. And I'm like, what are you guys all talking about? And they said, well, this crisis, we're all going to lose our house. And because we're probably going to not have patients come in, and you're going to have to lay us off, and we're going to go out of business. And I started realizing they were just going crazy with this idea. So I called them all together. I even called a couple practices together. And I told them, I said, I just want to let you know that in times of economic duress, people tend to go to the doctor more, especially alternative doctors, because a lot of people, if they don't have insurance, they want a better way to stay healthy. They can't afford to be sick. And the whole staff calmed down. And I completely made that up.
Yeah.
Just to calm them down. And I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
It's everything on you. Have a negative mindset, you're gonna start feeling sick. You're gonna start feeling everything's getting worse. But if you have a positive, you're gonna see everything different, and the energy around you is gonna make everything happen.
That's right. So during that economic crisis, we actually grew in all 3 of our clinics. Never took a hit. So keeping that mindset, the mindset that you just described that you're sharing with your employees, and I guess sharing with your patients, is paramount to surviving this. Now, how have you been reaching out to your patient base? Have you been?
Yes. So basically, we are calling them every Monday. We are calling, and we are just touching base with them to make sure that they are doing their exercise, their stretches at home, and also if they have any new complaint that we can address by phone or help them.
Okay. Now, one thing you might want to add to that we've done in our clinic is give them information on how you're keeping the office extra clean and the steps you're taking to prevent anybody from catching the virus in your office. We've done that, and we've maintained about 60% of our patient base, but we started seeing, like you did last week, an increase in new patients. So if you show them that and constantly say that, hey, we're just taking steps to make sure that if you come in, we can help you. What we did is on our mat tables where we do our exercise, we put tape at 6 feet intervals so that people know how far apart they are when they're laying on the mat next to somebody else. And as soon as they get up, our staff who are wearing masks cleans the mat tables. We're taking temperatures of everybody that walks in the door, employees and patients. If they have a fever, we send them home. And then they have to handle that before they can come back. So these are just a couple ideas for you.
What I'm doing also that have helped me is I start cleaning everything in front of the patient as well.
Oh, you're cleaning it in front of the patient.
And I think after I start doing that, they'll feel more confident to come here because I say, okay, they feel more safe.
Well, you know, it's funny. I travel a lot, not so much in the last 4 weeks, but up until that point, I was on a plane at least 2 or 3 times a week. And as this coronavirus was kicking in, I've never seen this before, but I was on 2 flights where the flight attendants cleaned the bathroom twice during the flight. Never seen that in 30 years of flying. So that goes a long way. Actually, when I saw that, I thought, I guess I'm okay on these planes. They're keeping them clean. I also found out they're using ultraviolet lights on the planes in between, which kills bacteria and viruses. So the only thing I have to worry about is the person sitting next to me. But because I believe my immune system is strong. And did you hear about the study on stem cells?
Yes.
Yeah. So what my wife and I didn't realize is we got stem cells in January. I had a torn meniscus and she just wanted to get them for health purposes. So we went to our clinic in January and we both got injected for those purposes. We weren't thinking coronavirus at all. And when we came home, we found out later we were exposed to a couple people that had the coronavirus pretty closely, and we never got it. So I believe it was the stem cells that prevented us from getting that, because I remember saying to these people, boy, you're really sick. And they said, this is the worst cold I've ever had. There was 3 people that we ran into that way. And 2 of them we were with for an extended period of time, and we never got it.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so it is amazing, and it is, I don't know if you've seen it, but now the White House is pushing the idea of looking at studies with stem cells to treat people with coronavirus or to prevent it. Now, I don't want to necessarily treat them. I'll let the hospitals do that, because I don't want somebody to say, oh, since you've had people with the virus in your office, now we're going to quarantine your office. But by having this option of giving people ability to boost their immunity, we've also started Myers cocktails. You know what that is?
We started.
You're doing that as well? Okay, good. It really does work. And the amount of vitamin C you want to put in that cocktail is a high amount. We're also telling people about the liposomal vitamin C. Have you seen that? So my wife and I have been using that, and our daughter has moved back to Oregon and is here with us, and she's not getting it. We have somebody that lives at the house to take care of the house when we're not here. She's taking it. She's not getting the virus. So the advice we're giving is actually what we're using personally to stay healthy. And I advise you to do that. One of the things I did for my staff is I bought each of my staff the biocidin, which is the thing that kills the viruses, and the liposomal vitamin C and glutathione, so they can keep their immune system up while they're treating patients. And they're using it. So I figured, even though it was kind of expensive, it was a good investment, because I have 24 staff. And, we wanted them to be healthy, and it was an investment into our team to make sure they could continue to deliver that service. So for the future, we're looking at this virus, and it looks like some of the indications are that in different parts of the country that curve is starting to flatten out and starting on a downtrend. We're probably going to have this with us for a few more weeks, but as it gets better and better, what is your plan to bring your patient base back to what it was?
So start calling back again and make sure they schedule the appointment right away and start rocking again. We was ready to start treating new patient and my existing patient with the new services.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we are so motivated and we are so anxious to this pandemic end and start implementing the new services. And
Okay.
the patient, they love the idea that we integrate our office and we are providing those new services. I mean, the feedback that I'm receiving from patients is that now they feel that they are in the best clinic ever. Yeah.
Well, that's important, because what you're doing is you're showing them you care. And the only reason you would do that is if you do care. And when a patient realizes a doctor cares about them, that becomes their doctor for life. Mm-hmm. So well done on what you're doing. Now, your nurse practitioner, you just got started with her. So she's part-time now, is that true?
Yeah, she's part-time. But I'm looking forward to have her full-time as soon as possible. She's really good, and we have kind of the same personality. She's not Hispanic, she's American, and she's learning Spanish and I'm learning more English. But the chemistry that we are very similar, and I think that is the best that could happen, because patient is gonna see that we are very similar, and we like to take care of patient.
Good. Well, what you can do, because you're going to do a podcast with her on building immunity, correct?
Yeah. So yeah.
So if you look at the interviews I have two of them with Dr. Brad Watts. He talks an awful lot about the science. So if she hasn't seen them, let her watch them.
Okay.
And then let her listen to Dr. John Rosa as well, because they talk about immunity as well. And she'll get some good insight on it. It sounds like she's a great learner. Once we get back into our normal routine, we will start up our trainings again. It's very important that you bring your nurse practitioner to the trainings so they can understand the idea of what we're doing and get the training hands-on for the rehab. So, yeah, that's a good plan. And I hope that not only yourself and your practice, but all of us get back to business as usual in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
For
us, for me, it's more like a little bit easier, because we used to do a lot of rehab as well. The office, we do chiropractic biophysics. So we are used to do a lot of rehab, but for her, it's something new. So we had to train and say, and now she understanding and say, wow, I have been in other chiropractic offices and they don't really care about the patient. They just do adjustment and that's it. I say, no, we can do more, and we can help as much as we can our patient. That's what I love, and that's my passion to be.
Yeah. Well, your most valuable asset is your reputation. It seems like you know that. When you come to the training, the next training we do for the rehab, look at our rehab, because people who do biophysics or Pedibond, it blends in perfectly. And our rehab is based upon upper cross and lower cross syndrome with Dr. Yanda. So I think you guys will really like it. And we have all the videos broken down individually so she can get trained very easily. So have her start looking at that as well. And it was a pleasure to interview you today. Good job on what you've done so far. You know, you got hit with this, kind of blindsided from it right from the beginning, but that didn't stop you, and you're still going, and that's why you're going to be super successful. So thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome.